Welcome back to the channel, Madridistas, and you Barcelona bums. This is your boy, MadridistaFitz. I just got home from work. I'm on overnight shifts, and I missed this madness with Florentino Perez. I'm here to discuss it on Madrid's 11th best YouTube channel. This is your MadridistaFitz with your daily, weekly updates for Real Madrid. We may not have the best content, but we sure as hell are going to get a good laugh, and we sure as hell have the best PowerPoint slides. So let's jump right into it. So the title of this video is going to be The Godfather Speaks and We Listen. So in case anyone didn't know, Florentino Perez held a surprise news conference or press conference. This man normally doesn't speak to the press. He's usually very soft-spoken. There were many rumors swirling throughout the week that after this season, he may step down as Real Madrid's president. He's had two different stints at Real Madrid. He's been the club president for over 22 years. There was supposed to be an election coming up in 2029, but all that is changing after today. Florentino Perez held a surprise news conference, and one of the headlines from this news conference was he said he was not stepping down and they'll have to shoot me to get me out. It's a madness with this team. You never know what you're going to get. I'll go over my own thoughts about Florentino Perez. I just want to get into what was said at this press conference, and then I'll go over what I think about everything. So starting off, I've pulled the biggest quotes from this news conference, kind of the highlights of it. And the first highlight is elections are coming. So, in a bizarre emergency press conference, Real Madrid president Florentino Perez announced elections. As he said, "I'm sorry to say that I'm not going to resign." Good for you, Florentino Perez. I'll stop right there. This guy, he's been getting shit on by news media outlets, by YouTubers alike. And I would say he's been getting shit on a lot this season for bringing in Kylian Mbappe. And single-handedly, they're blaming him for the construction of this team. Here's a news flash for y'all. Before we get into this, whole news conference, press conference, here's a news flash for you. Any fucking president or GM would have brought in Kylian Mbappe on a free. That's just facts. You have one of the... Say what you want about Mr. Mbooty himself. You have one of the best wingers, one of the best players on the entire planet. He's universally, say what you want, I have my qualms with him as a player. He's still a top 10, if not top 5 player in the game. The guy is electric on his best day. He can bang in some goals. He's surely going to have a great World Cup because he's Superman when he plays for France, and he can canoodle with all those French women and eat his croissants and do whatever the hell he wants. So the fact that you're yelling at Florentino Perez, who at the end of the day is a businessman, whatever you say about soccer and Real Madrid, it is a business at the end of the day. If you can get a player like Kylian Mbappe on a free transfer, you're going to do it. I mean, let's wake up and live in the world of reality. Let's just slapping myself because I'm a little tired. Let's live in the world of reality. Slap yourself if you think that Florentino Perez and Real Madrid weren't going to sign Mbappe. I'll just stop there because that's a madness and people shouldn't be bitching about that. But continuing, he said, "I'm sorry to say this, I'm not going to resign. We're going to call for elections, and I and this board of directors will be running in them. I've been working since 2000 to ensure that members are owners, unlike other clubs." So kind of what he's talking about is Real Madrid's run by, it is basically a publicly owned company, you could say. They have socios. There's about 100,000 socios that elect a club president, which is Florentino Perez, and a board of directors. And pretty much what Florentino Perez is saying right now is, y'all are bitching right now. Here's your opportunity. I'm opening elections. He's putting his balls on the table. He's saying, come at me, big guy. If you want to run against me and you want to beat me, here's your chance. And I like that. I mean, anyone can bitch about this guy and the job he's doing. Running Real Madrid is not an easy thing to do. This is the highest profile club in the entire planet. And in my opinion, I'll just start there. In my opinion, he's done an outstanding job. He's been this president over 2 different terms in the early 2000s when Real Madrid was absolutely fucking broke. He came in and righted the ship financially. There's stories that this man, out of his own pocket, gave Roberto Carlos, our left back at the time, money out of his own pocket because we were Barcelona broke and we could not afford to pay his salaries. He was basically playing on Real Madrid without wages because hats off to Roberto Carlos. He's a stand-up guy, but Florentino Perez dug money out of his own pockets, out of his own coffers, and gave them to Roberto Carlos. That's the type of guy he is. He was a socio growing up. His father, I believe, was a socio. He has the best interest in the club in mind. And say what you want, he righted the ship on his first term financially. And then they even won a Champions League on his first term. He left for a little while. He came back in 2009. And from 2009 to now, we have won 6 Champions Leagues. Say what you want, in his time period as club president, we've won more Champions Leagues in that short period of time than Barcelona has in their entire fucking history. Think about that. Our biggest rivals, the Catalonian bums themselves, have only won 5 Champions Leagues. And in Florentino Perez's entire time as club president, he's won 7 of those bad boys. 6 if you count his recent stint. So this man deserves to have his say. He deserves to have his election. And you know what? I would love to see someone challenge him and beat him. Go ahead, come at him. That's what he's saying. So, going into furthermore details, and he'll talk about Barcelona in this press conference as well, which I'll get into. So, here's the big reason why he's upset. So, it said, an absurd situation has arisen. This is his words, by the way. Everything I'm reading when I go into this PowerPoint mode is his words. It says, an absurd situation has arisen because of a campaign against the interests of Real Madrid and against me. In particular, the results haven't been the best, but they're using this as an opportunity to attack me personally. They ask where Florentino is. They say I don't exist, that I have terminal cancer. I'd like to take this opportunity to say that I continue to lead Madrid every day, just as I do my company, ACS. He has a construction company on the side, by the way, if you're unsure what that is. He went on to say, my health is perfect. I'd have to go to a cancer center and get checked out. They've decided that I'm tired. So what he continued to say, I'll stop there for a minute. So a lot of his frustrations is stemming from the Spanish media. Universally throughout the world, Madrid and Florentino Perez are basically applauded or heralded for his work at the club, for what he's done. But the Spanish media is particularly tough on this guy. And apparently ABC news outlet in Spain made up a story that this man had terminal cancer. Just think about that. And that he was tired. They took a quote that he said he was tired. Of course he's fucking tired. He's an old man and he's running Real Madrid. Real Madrid has over 100,000 employees worldwide. They're a global brand. They're the biggest name in sports. They generate more revenue than any other sports company in the world. They are one of the biggest companies in the world. No shit, the guy's tired. Just because he's tired doesn't mean he has fucking cancer. So that is why he is so upset. I mean, and he, in this press conference, apparently, I'll go on to say what he said to his critics. So this is what he said to his critics. He said, stop beating around the bush, take the plunge, step forward, put up the necessary funds. Why isn't anyone running against me? It must be because they're afraid of me. Florentino Perez isn't going anywhere until the members want me to leave. They'll have to shoot me to get out. He's calling out everyone that's talking shit about him. He's saying, if you want to be the president of Real Madrid, he's like, come have it. I appreciate that in a president, and I surely would still vote for this guy as Real Madrid's president. You don't just abandon the ship after 2 bad seasons at Real Madrid. Say what you want. The guy has the financials savvy of one of the best CEOs in the world. We are financially stable. Now, I think he can focus a little more on the soccer aspect of it. Maybe get some players in this summer, have a generational signing window. But you don't just abandon the ship after 2 bad seasons. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at the end of the day. We had 2 bad seasons. The standard at Real Madrid is ridiculously high. Look at what's going over at Barcelona. Their golden generation. This is the golden generation of Barcelona. How many Champions Leagues have they won in the last 12 years? Close your eyes. I'm closing them right now. What do you see? Nothing. Nothingness. It is the empty void of nothingness from the never-ending story with Barcelona. They never win Champions Leagues, but yet their president is still there. In this golden generation of Barcelona, they're winning Mickey Mouse trophies, La Liga. So what? We didn't win any trophies the last 2 years. I would like any other person to step up and try to do better than Florentino Perez, and he's given them a shot with these elections, that's about to transpire. And going on further of what he said in the press conferences, he really does hate the company ABC. So from what I heard from the press conference is he tried calling out this individual reporter that was writing this nonsense that he had terminal cancer. He tried calling him out by name, saying, where are you at? Where you at? And I don't know if the person didn't show up, but I will say it was a little lame that the big buildup in the moment is he finally was like, I'm going to cancel my ABC subscription because of this, which is a little lame from Florentino Perez. I think you could do better than that. Maybe take a bigger swing at them, but he's pissed at ABC, and I don't blame them. You don't want to be associated with having terminal cancer if you simply don't have it. There's a lot of people, and shame on ABC. There is a lot of people in the world that are struggling with cancer. I've lost 3 of my grandparents to cancer. Shame on that ABC reporter for saying this man has cancer because he's tired. Holy shit, I'm tired right now. Do I have cancer? It's a madness. Why the hell would you write that? But I'll say what exactly he said to ABC. So he said, ABC reported this before the meeting again. I'm very tired. It's true that we haven't won anything this year. We've won 66 titles with me as president. I want to talk about the people behind this campaign. Let's see if they show up. We're going to show up, and I invite them to do the same. Here at Madrid, the members are in charge as long as I'm here. If I look tired, it's because I work hard. It's true, this man works hard. He runs the most successful club in Europe. Say what you want. I've had Barcelona fans, crazy fans, write crap to me all this last 2 years about saying how garbage we are, saying how trash we are. Sure, we're in a bad spell. But look at what's transpired in this club. He's won, I believe, 66 trophies. I even saw 70-some across football and basketball, and including 7 Champions Leagues and 3 European titles in basketball. Look at our closest rival in Spain, which is Barcelona, or even Atletico Madrid, because in my opinion, they were the best Spanish team in Europe this year because they made it the furthest in the Champions League. In my opinion, the best team in Spain is the team that makes it the furthest in the Champions League, because that is where the best competition is. So, in my opinion, the best team this year was Atletico Madrid. Look at what Atletico Madrid has won. Barely anything in that time period. Look at what Barcelona has won during his spell. Nearly nothing. A lot of La Ligas, which I'll get into in a minute. They have won a lot of La Ligas. I will give them that. They are the queens of Spanish soccer, for sure. But Florentino Perez has a right to be upset at ABC. Holy shit, man. You guys need to control your media content and what you write about. Just people in general. It's a madness. An absolute madness. But that leads me into what Florentino Perez said about Barcelona. So Perez on Barcelona. And I think this is a big take. And before I even read into this, I will say this. I am not a Barcelona fan. I hate Barcelona. I hate Barcelona more than anything in my entire life. One thing Barcelona fans love to do is they love to blame the refs. They have a victim mentality. Whenever they lose a game, it's not because Barcelona wasn't good enough. It's not because the other team played better. It's because the refs screwed them. I've been hearing this controversy for years on end with Barcelona fans. The refs screwed us in the Champions League. There's a conspiracy out there that the refs are screwing Barcelona. Someone's paying the refs money to screw Barcelona. This is what Barcelona fans do. And I will say, I personally will never blame the refs. And I think Florentino Perez, which I disagree with him here, is he is blaming the refs in a sense with this Negreira case. And which I'll get into at his words on it, but in case you are unfamiliar with the Negreira investigation, I also hear this from Barcelona fans that we get called Madrid because we get special treatment from refs. We get all the calls from refs. We get called Madrid because we get all the VAR. Well, just for your information, in case you're not tracking, Barcelona fans, the biggest scandal in the history of soccer to do with referees involves Barcelona. Is that a madness or what? In case you are unaware of the situation, so the Negera investigation is an ongoing sports corruption investigation involving Spanish football club FC Barcelona and Jose Enriquez Negera, a former vice president of the Technical Committee of Referees (CTA) of Royal Spanish Football Federation (RFEF). The case centers on payments totaling approximately $8.4 million made by FC Barcelona to companies linked to Negera between, here's your key fact, between 2001 and 2018, which was the most successful time Barcelona ever had in La Liga. Now, and this Negera guy, during his time, was the vice president of CTA. And somehow, it's a madness, that guy got $8.4 million during that period of time for God knows what from Barcelona. Funds were coming from Barcelona into that man's pockets. If the shoe were on the other foot and Real Madrid was accused of this, we would be crucified by the media and Barcelona fans alike. But somehow this gets swept under the rug. By the way, this is still an open investigation. Barcelona has been acquitted of any bribery charges, but it is still being investigated in Spanish courts on sports corruption, which it very well should be, in my opinion. And I agree with Florentino Perez's statements on the Negera case. He wrote, or he said, they've been paying for 2 decades, but the fact is that in this third decade, it's the same referees. We will submit a comprehensive dossier to UEFA so that they can nip this in the bud and resolve the case for the good of world soccer. So what he's talking about here is the same referees that were officiating games during the Negera era are still officiating games today, which is an absolute madness. If there's smoke, there's usually fire. I will not blame referees, in my opinion, but I think for the fairness of the game, referees should have turned over. It is crazy that FC Barcelona paid the vice president of a reffing committee $8.4 million and these referees are still employed. That blows my mind, absolutely. And it just happens to coincide with the best spell in La Liga history for Barcelona. Now, I would say there's a big equalizing factor in this. Barcelona had very good teams at the time. They had Lionel Messi, they had Iniesta, they had Xavi, they had Busquets, they had a lot of guys that I respect. But, in my opinion, this investigation has been going on too long in the Spanish courts. There deserves to be a resolution or a verdict in this case. And it shouldn't be continued to be swept under the rug. I feel like Barcelona has been trying to just sweep this under the rug. When I bring it up to other Barcelona fans, you know who you are. You just disregard it like it never happened. It is still a thing. And Florentino Perez is going to take further action on it. Here's what he said. He said, let's see if we take this serious and if UEFA finally steps up on this issue. And they will, because they can't allow the most important soccer, which is European soccer, to be under suspicion of corruption that has been going on for 20 years. Let's see what happens on the criminal front and then on the sporting front with UEFA, who have agreed to let us send them the entire dossier, and let's see what happens. And this is what Florentino Perez went on to say about the dossier. We've been working on this for 2 years. It's a compilation of objective facts. We're going to see this through to the end because this is the most serious case of corruption in the history of soccer. It's for the good of soccer, and it's not to pick on Barcelona. I mean, I guess he has a 500-page dossier, and I agree with him here. You know, this should not be in the game. Clubs should not be paying refs in any fashion whatsoever. All funding should come from an independent source, not the clubs. It should come from La Liga. It should come from UEFA. Clubs should not be paying refs or their companies or the proxy companies, whatever you want to call it, in any fashion. any sense. And this needs to be cleaned up. I don't really care about stripping Barcelona titles. They won those titles, in my opinion. Even if they get stripped, they still won those titles. But the fact remains that we get called Madrid, we get called cheaters, we get called, all sorts of things. We get the most preferential treatment of all clubs. It's a madness when the only open scandal is against Barcelona. The only open cheating scandal is from Barcelona themselves. It's crazy. And it's a madness that I deal with all the time with Barcelona fans. So I hope Florentino Perez continues to pursue this, because we deserve justice, or the game itself deserves justice if there was cheating taking place. And just facts, La Liga was dominated by Barcelona for a long time. Good for you all. You won your Mickey Mouse trophies, but I would love to see if the cheating scandal had anything to do with that. It's a madness, but whatever. Florentino Perez is crying a little bit on that one. I will not be a crybaby like Barcelona fans. The only bigger crybaby than Real Madrid players this season are Barcelona crybabies themselves. I will not venture down that avenue myself. You got to win on the field fair and square, but I think this cheating thing needs to be pursued, and I appreciate you as club president and defending Real Madrid's honor by pursuing that, Florentino Perez. Good on you. And then finally, Florentino Perez went on to talk about this season. So he said, "We've come up empty-handed. I've been here before. I don't know how many seasons, yet I've only won 7 European Cups and 7 league titles, and could have won 14 if they hadn't been stolen from me. We've made a video about the 18 points they've taken away from us this season. I can't just stay silent about this." So he once again is claiming, we would have won. This is kind of bullshit. I will say, Florentino Perez, this is a madness. We don't play good soccer. That's facts. Barcelona plays better soccer than us. I still think it's crazy that these referees are being employed, yet the Nogueira scandal hasn't been resolved. But he's saying, we could have won more games, or we would have got more points if this situation was cleaned up. So I think it's a little naive of Florentino Perez to go that far, because Barcelona were simply better than us this year. But once again, I want to see the outcome of this cheating scandal. I want to see the final results. It needs to either get pushed through the Spanish courts, or UEFA needs to seriously look into this. It is not uncommon for big clubs to get sent back down to a second division, or get some type of relegation or some type of fine that resulted from scandals like this. This happened to Juventus. I don't know the exact situation behind them, but they dropped down to a previous division because of a scandal similar to this. One moment, please. We're back. My cat was losing her ever fucking forsaken mind. But Florentino Perez also talked about what went on in the training ground. I'm not going to read the whole thing with this one. He said that there was scuffles in years past on the Madrid training ground, and this is not a new thing. I kind of call cap a little bit on this one. I don't think there was ever a scuffle so bad that a player got knocked out and ended up in the hospital. I could be wrong on this. I don't work at Real Madrid. I sure as hell don't play there. But at the end of the day, it needs to be cleaned up. He didn't talk anything about the future manager. Someone asked him about Jose Mourinho. I would love for him to come in and clean up this situation. But the fact still remains, we had a terrible season. I do really appreciate Florentino Perez coming out and responding to this situation. I know he got shit on by media outlets. I know he continues to get shit on by other YouTubers. Here's my opinion of the whole thing. Real Madrid fans should be thankful for Florentino Perez. Think about what he has done at this club in his 22 years. He may not have won La Ligas at a rate that Barcelona has. That's just facts. Cheating scandal or not, it should be investigated. There should be a resolution to it, and shame on Barcelona if the facts do come out that there was corruption involved in it, which wouldn't surprise me because they are a bunch of Catalonian fucks. But I think Real Madrid fans are just holding an unrealistic standard for this club. At the end of the day, we had 2 bad seasons. You don't throw out the man that got you 7 European championships because of 2 lackluster seasons. If there's more of the same next year, we can have the conversation. And you know what? I give it to Florentino Perez. He hung it all out there. He said, if you want my position, come and take it. And I would love to see the names that are being tossed out. Sure as hell you won't get as good of a business person as Florentino Perez. There is no one out there that is as good at business as he is, that is a president of a club. That's just facts. He's generated more revenue for this club. We have been financially stable. We are a global brand. We generate more revenue. We get players cheaper than anyone else because we have actually responsible spending habits, which I believe could shift more to the irresponsible side so we get better as a club in soccer. But at the end of the day, I think Madrid fans have been extremely hard on Florentino Perez, and he had every right to hold this press conference. He has every right to have an election, and if you want him out of there, this is your opportunity. Socios, vote him out of there. I don't know what jerk-off you're going to get as the next Real Madrid president, but I sure as hell can tell you he's not going to last at the club 22 years, and he's not going to bring us 7 European championships. It is an absolute... do the math behind that. Simple math. I'm going to take off a year. 21 years and 7 European championships, 7 Champions Leagues. That's a third of our seasons we have won the Champions League. That doesn't happen at any other club. That certainly, sure as hell, has not happened at Barcelona. Generations have been living and dying. Older people have suffered as Barcelona fans and have gone to the grave without seeing Barcelona win a Champions League since the little midget himself, Messi, has left. Think about that. Kids have grown into men, and they still haven't sniffed a Champions League, haven't even sniffed the fucking finals. It is another thing. We get to finals and we win finals. Florentino Perez is a great president. He deserves his flowers. He deserves this election, and let's see what happens from it. I hats off to Florentino Perez for saying enough is enough and going out there and giving it to the fucking media. I like that. If someone were to talk shit about me having terminal cancer, I would want to rub it and throw it right back in their face. Take their noses and rub it in it. Like, take their nose and rub it in some dog shit on the ground. I like this from Florentino Perez. I'm also a little unhinged if you're still watching as well. So, I appreciate a little unhingedness from this president. That's it, y'all. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to do as much content as I can. This is not my primary job. I'm about to get an upgrade in the studio. I'm about to be in a house. We'll have a sweet setup. I'll have a microphone, hopefully. And hopefully my cat won't be losing its mind in the background. Love you all for watching this video, even you Barcelona bums. Hala Madrid, puta Barca. Let's go. Sign Mourinho. I'll make a video about that here soon. And boo the shit out of the players on Thursday in the Bernabeu. They deserve every second of those boos. See ya, y'all.